first game at Dodger Stadium since last year in the World Series, and it was a long one. 3 hours, 31 minutes. We saw 18 walks in this game, 6 of them by Roki Sasaki, who struggled again in his final spring tune-up. Good news is Dodgers came back from down 6-0. They finish in a 7-7 tie, and we only have one more game, Jerry, until opening day.
Yeah, you know, fans out there, why did they end the game in a tie? Because it is an exhibition game. You don't want to burn out all your pitchers. But the Dodgers, love the way they battled back in this game. Yes, walks have been an issue, really the theme of spring training so far.
Yeah, and also spring training, you can have a pitcher, you can pull them out of an inning, and then you can re-enter them later on in the game. It's about getting the work in. They got the work in. I think it was a lot longer than they expected. Just one of those games where we thought maybe these starters would play 9 innings, but the way the game was going, they're like, let's get them out of there.
All right, so we talked about Roki Sasaki a little bit. We'll talk more about him coming up. But first, let's hear from Roki with Kirsten Watson and the media.
Roki, when you look at your outing today, yes, there were the walks. What were you finding just with how your stuff was playing this evening?
今日こういう結果になって、ちょっとフォアボールとかもあったんですけれども、今日のその元々の目標というか予定というかどんな感じで試合に入ってきましたか。
そうですね。今日が最後のスプリングトレーニングだったので、実戦を意識した実戦というか、シーズン本番を意識した中で、どういうちゃんとパフォーマンスができるかってところを投げる前は大事にしていきました。
So this is my last spring training game, so I was trying to find a game feel today before the game started. Yeah.
Did you feel like you found that, or?
いい感じで見つけられた方というか、何か自分の探してたものを。
今日に関してはもちろん結果の通り良くなかったので、そんなになかったかなと思います。
The results were really bad today, so I couldn't really find it.
Why do you think you're still having so much trouble finding the strike zone consistently?
そのストライクを投げることにちょっと難しさがあるのかなと見えるんですけども、何か原因はありますか？
原因がそうです。試合前のブルペンとかは、割とコントロールできている中で、試合になって、スプリントトレーニングではこういう感じが多かったので、前回までは試合中に修正したりできたんですけど、今日に関してはそこまでちょっと分からなかったかなと思います。
So before the game started in the bullpen, I actually felt pretty good. My command was good, but once I started the game and then start throwing, my mechanics were a little off, and then I couldn't fix it.
Yeah, we heard Jack Harris asking Roki Sasaki the question, Omar, about why does he continue to struggle throwing strikes here in the spring, and I don't think Roki really had the answer for that, and that's something the Dodgers are going to have to figure out very soon.
Yeah, and it's definitely concerning. I mean, it's one thing, you can have a hiccup in spring training. We talk about, listen, spring training numbers don't mean anything, but at the same time, this has happened throughout the course of spring training. To have one bad game is one thing, but to have games where he is consistently having trouble hitting the strike zone and falling behind, walking guys. You mentioned that was our concern coming into this game. What do we want to see? We want to see consistency. We want to see command. We want to see confidence out there. Well, he didn't exude any of those three. And this is something that they really have to consider because, like we said, it's not just one time that they've had to pull him out of a game and then they re-enter him, just so he can get his work in. You don't want that to be a consistent theme in spring training, and you obviously can't do it during the season. So this is something they may have to reevaluate. If he's having trouble finding it, and even over a course of a game, it's one thing you can start off a game and have trouble, but then maybe once you get out of that inning and then find it later, we've seen some guys do that where they get off to a slow start in that first inning, and we talk about in the bullpen, act as if it's maybe that second inning for you, whatever it may be. But this isn't the case. We saw it last year. We've seen it carried over this year as a starter. This is something that they may have to address maybe before they even throw him out there in these big league games, because he also has to find a way within himself to find a way to find it. He talks about, he goes, when I lose it, I can't find it. Well, you can't come back, and that doesn't help.
I'm going to state a fact here. The Dodgers do not win the World Series without Roki last year. They do not win the World Series. He saved us as being the closer. Dodgers were desperate having a closer. We needed a closer in that bullpen last year. He came out and he pitched big time. He was that need, and he performed at the highest level. So we know that he's a big game pitcher. We know that. It ain't a fear factor, that's not an issue. We know he's got what it takes to be able to go out there and do what he needs to do. But here's the thing. It is different being that closer or being that reliever as opposed to, okay, now I got to be that guy who gives us length. And I said it, John, me and you were talking probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He has that closer delivery where you can air that out. That delivery, it takes so much effort. If you watch Yamamoto, you watch Shohei Ohtani, 2 different deliveries, but what they do, everything's in rhythm, everything's in sync, and they're using their entire body. He's coming from a stop, dead stop, and raising almost like the D-Train. D-Train had that windup, and he threw that leg up, but used that windup. He's doing that from a stop, getting that leg up way up high, and then trying to generate force every single pitch. I think that's just a tough thing to do. Maybe, and I'm just saying, listen, I'm not a pitching coach, but I know as a hitter looking at a pitcher, what a nice delivery looks like as far as, man, this guy's got rhythm, tempo, whether it was Pedro Martinez back in the day, David Cohn back in the day. Now, I just mentioned Yamamoto and Shohei. They have that nice rhythm and tempo where they're not exerting a whole lot of energy, and they're still throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour and using all those types of breaking balls. So I'm suggesting maybe he tinkers with the windup. Maybe allow that big frame to move slower, gather himself, and then deliver what he needs to deliver, whether it's a fastball, forkball, or whatever. Maybe take some time. Again, John, you know that you're a really good golfer, right? When you're working on something, a golf swing, are you going to go play the Masters? Guess what Dodger Stadium's? That's like the Masters, right? This is the big leagues.
You work on that on the range.
You work it on the range. So I love Roki, man. He is a dude. We're all pulling for him. I don't want to see him fail. I don't want to see him lose confidence because he certainly has the makeup. He certainly has the talent. He has all-world talent. I think right now he's trying too hard because that delivery is just at a stop. And then now I got to get that leg up. And then before I knew it, I got runners on. Now I got to be quicker. And it's just he cannot find a rhythm and tempo to a delivery. So maybe go to a windup. Just take her. I mean, what else do you got to lose at this point?
Try something different.
Try something different.
And it just seems like to me, and I don't know, and none of us know what's going on inside of his head, but when I watch him, I get the sense, going back to that golf analogy and, you know, and thinking about your swing mechanics, he strikes me as a guy who's not thinking about executing pitches, that he's thinking about the mechanics of his delivery instead of thinking about executing pitches.
Okay, let me talk before Nomar does, because Nomar didn't really have this situation. Nomar was always a stud as a hitter. I tinkered with a lot of stuff, and sometimes I had a little success. Sometimes I know what it's like to struggle, trust me. And when you're struggling, the worst thing you could do is be in the batter's box facing Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, whoever, and you don't know what you're doing right now, or you're not confident at the batter's box. So you flip it around on the pitcher's mound, you're thinking, okay, do I have my leg up? I have weight on my back leg? Am I driving it? But you're competing with a guy in the big leagues. You can't be thinking about mechanics when you're on the mound trying to get big league hitters out. I know we're all pulling for Roki, man, because he's such a good dude, man. Really good young man, and we want to see him succeed because we saw what he did for us. And I said it earlier, we don't win the World Series without Roki. He saved us last year. I hopefully can find his delivery, man, because I know the talent is there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, there's no question about it. He was huge last year, exactly what they need. You're exactly right. They don't win it without him. And it was great to see, you know, in that moment and him be able to perform and deliver. Hopefully lets him know that he can do it at this level and then on the biggest stage. So we know that. But I think you're right. This is one of those times that, well, maybe you just have to take some time. You have to take some time to make sure you do find it. You got to make sure to find who you are as a starter. Or you just become that out of the bullpen. There's nothing wrong with him coming out of the bullpen and then being effective in doing that. That's okay too. Nobody's against that possibly, because we're saying he has a runway. We talked about him being young, which he is. He's all of these things with a lot of talent coming over here. So got to find his way. And right now they have given him that way throughout the spring. We saw it early last year as well, early in the season trying to do that. They sent him down. He found himself and was dominant out of the bullpen. So this is one where if it still takes some more time, whatever it may be, it's okay to start down there. It's okay to be going down there and find it there than try to experience it all over again here at this level, on the major league level, in the biggest stage, under a microscope.
Yeah, you also don't want to completely destroy his confidence and give him a chance to succeed at the big league level. Right now, let's head back to the booth, check in one final time with Steven Nelson and Eric Karros.